What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and things have changed yet again for the arrival time for infrastructure and stimulus. This is your stimulus check update and your stimulus package update. Now, what we're hearing is that there are currently delays now being reported, as we have had literally hundreds of amendments to the first portion of the infrastructure package. Now, the first portion is for traditional infrastructure, as you know, but they have to pass these tandem. So until they get the first portion done, they can't focus on the second portion, and they can't have both of them go on to the House until they're both ready. So this is going to be causing some delays. And what we're hearing is this is not going to be ready until the soonest this weekend. Now, you guys, I'm going to be diving into an article getting you caught up on the latest. Now, in addition to that, we had that breaking news come out yesterday, and sure enough, later on in the evening, as I mentioned, the CDC came out with an announcement that they're going to be extending out the eviction moratorium for 60 days. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the video footage of what came out, and also I'm going to be sharing with you video footage of AOC announcing what we need to do next, as there is literally $25 billion that was allocated for rental assistance to help out those that are currently needing that right now, that are behind on their rent, facing eviction, to go to the landlords. And what we're hearing is, I think it's something like less than 5% of that has been distributed. So they're saying they need to put in place actions to distribute out those provisions, so that way we can have everybody taken care of, as we're seeing more Delta variant spread of the virus, you guys. So there's a lot unfolding. I'm going to dive into these articles and this video footage and get you caught up on the latest as to what's happening with infrastructure, stimulus, breaking news on the eviction moratorium as of today, August 4th, 2021. Now, before we dive in though, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. If you like and appreciate these updates, don't forget to take a second to just smash that like button. I would appreciate it. It really helps me out a ton. Thank you so much. If you like and appreciate that simple gesture helps me out here. These videos helps me out a lot. Now, also, if this is your first time here, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, come join the RAM fam, the viewing community. I'll keep you up to date on all this stuff so you know what's happening. And also, if you got any specific questions for me, be sure to shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. That is by far the best way to get a hold of me if you got any specific questions that you want answered. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive into this new information that we have coming out on infrastructure, stimulus, delays, and also the CDC eviction moratorium. All right, so first, let's take a look at this video footage with the breaking news of this new extension of the eviction moratorium. Then we're going to be hearing from AOC, who's going to be recapping what we need to do going forward. And then we're going to dive into the latest delays on infrastructure. So let's start off with this video footage.
We also want to turn now to some breaking news from the Biden administration, which is announcing a new limited ban on evictions. Now, this comes just days after the previous ban expired, putting millions at risk of losing their homes. CBS's Nancy Cordes is at the White House. And Nancy, boy, this comes after a lot of pressure from members of his own party, right?
It sure did, Nora. The CDC has just released that new ban, and it is a big turnaround for an administration that was arguing as recently as yesterday that its hands were tied and that it couldn't legally extend the ban on evictions. Well, apparently the CDC has found a way, because now we have this new ban that will last 60 days until October 3rd. It's going to cover 80% of counties, home to 90% of the U.S. population, and it's targeted, we're told, to areas that have experienced high levels of COVID infection. But the High Court ruled against the last ban. So recently I asked President Biden why this one will be any different. Are you sure it's going to pass Supreme Court muster?
There are several key scholars who think that it may, and it's worth the effort.
His argument is that even if this move is ultimately blocked by the courts, at the very least, it will buy states time to distribute tens of billions of dollars in federal rent forgiveness to help make renters whole and keep them from being kicked out of their homes. Nora?
So there it is. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, as they're extending this out for 60 days. But what we're hearing is they're saying this is actually constitutionally not legal. They're expecting this not to go through, but they think it'll buy them enough time to get something together, because as we mentioned, $25 billion was allocated back in March through the American Rescue Plan to help out with this exact same thing. But the problem is the federal government left it up to the states then left it up to the counties, and it just sort of got handed down, and then no money actually got distributed out. We're hearing about, I think it's less than 5% has actually gone out to help people. And there's all this money, literally tens of billions of dollars, just sitting there that have not been distributed. So they need to get this out. Now, let's hear AOC on this say this exact same thing as well.
Should and once we get a moratorium extension in place, we need governors and municipalities to get emergency rental assistance funds out. That is what the point of this moratorium is to buy time. This is a huge victory for working families. This is a huge victory for the vulnerable, and it is a huge victory for the power of direct action and not taking no for an answer.
We are hopeful that it is what will help 11 million people stay in their homes, 6 million families to be secure in housing, where those children will be able to start school in the next few weeks and not have to worry about where they're going to sleep.
So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, they're just trying to buy some time. They already know, like we mentioned, that this is likely not going to be something that's going to be constitutional or legal, but they're just using this to try to figure out something to get a system to get this $25 billion distributed out for tenants to landlords. So once again, let me know your thoughts down below. Now, in the meantime, we also have Congress working away trying to get through this infrastructure package, literally $1.2 trillion for roads, bridges, and highways, and then a second portion of $3.5 billion. That will be the largest stimulus package that we have seen so far. However, we're hearing that there are delays. Take a look at this link in the description below to this article that just came out that says new hurdle slows the $1 trillion infrastructure bill. Senate action on a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill has slowed to a crawl as lawmakers haggle over more than 250 proposed amendments to the legislation. So you guys, over 250 recommendations of modifications to this bill, which is definitely going to be slowing down the process. It says in several instances, senators are holding their colleagues' amendments hostage by objecting to voting on them unless their own priorities are also guaranteed a vote. So right now they're saying, I'm not going to support your amendment. If you don't support mine, I'm not going to vote on it. So this is slowing the process down as everybody's trying to get their particularly priorities included in this bill. But with nearly 300 amendments filed, not everyone is going to get their proposed changes to the legislation on the Senate floor, fueling frustrations among senators on both sides of the aisles. Now, senators say that they expect the bipartisan package to come up for a final series of votes as soon as this weekend. Now, keep in mind, that is the soonest. So the next couple of days, they're still going to be working on this. And this weekend, hopefully by then, they'll have it ready, but no guarantees. But the timing will depend on whether Republican senators in particular feel they've been given enough chance to make changes to the legislation. Now, Senator John Tester, one of the principal negotiators of the bipartisan bill, complained the package is moving, quote, not fast enough. And he said there are people holding amendments that they really shouldn't be. Vote up or down, churn or burn, baby. Tester at the point said it's probably going to be Saturday before there's a vote on the final passage. I think we're on course, he said. And the legislation, as introduced, would provide $110 billion for roads, bridges, and major projects, $66 billion for passenger and freight rail, $39 billion for public transit, $65 billion for broadband, and $55 billion for water infrastructure, among other provisions. Now, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell yesterday, he reiterated his warning to Democrats not to rush the amendment process. And he said, the best way to pass this infrastructure bill is to not try to file cloture today and speed up the process. He said, this is an extremely important bipartisan bill. There's an excellent chance that it will be a bipartisan success story for our country, and to try to truncate an amendment process on something of this magnitude, I think, is a mistake. Now, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said Republicans are cooperating on moving the bill forward, at least so far. He said, we are working well with Republicans on amendments. Obviously, you need complete support to move amendments to the floor. Up to now, and hopefully to continue, that will work. Now, Schumer said that he would keep the bill on the floor until it passes, even if it eats into the August recess, which was scheduled to begin Friday, but now will be delayed at least a week. We're going to stay here as long as it takes to get this done, period, he said. So you guys, they're working away. They're saying this is taking longer than they want, and they're saying they don't want to rush the process, and they're saying they're going to work through recess until they get it done. And now this is just the first portion of the infrastructure bill for roads, bridges, and highways. Once they get that done, then they're turning their attention towards the stimulus package as well. And I will be sure to keep you guys up to date on whatever unfolds with that too. Well, you guys, that is the latest on infrastructure, stimulus, the CDC moratorium, and as more information rolls out, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date here on the channel and let you know what's unfolding. And as always, thank you so much for joining me, and if you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, smash that like button, just takes a second, really helps me out a ton. Thank you so much, and if this is your first time here, come and join the Ram fam. Smash the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and I'll keep you up to date on all this stuff. And if you got any specific questions for me, remember, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. And with that being said, you guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Remember, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, guaranteed uploads, and also random uploads throughout the day as news breaks. But with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.